In the car. Okay? I'm not a bad guy, man. In the car. I'm not a bad guy. I can't take that, man. I can't. I'm gonna lay on the ground. I'm gonna lay on the ground. I'm gonna lay on the ground, bro.
Hi guys, Okoyemi here, and I'm here to talk about the xenophobic attack in South Africa.
Economic strain, unemployment, and political rhetoric are shaping public sentiment. In that environment, migrants often become easy targets.
I just have a lot of emotions, right? I have a lot of emotions, a lot of things to say, and I just thought, why not? Let's do a sit-down video and let's talk about this. This is xenophobia, right? We say xenophobia is the fear and prejudice against people, mostly strangers, and it has to do with the origin of these people, right? While racism talks about prejudice against a particular race or physical traits. But when it boils down to it, really, is there any difference between xenophobia and racism? Is there any difference? I am based here in Canada, and no, I do not ignore or deny the fact that racism exists. I am not blindfolded or blindsided. I try to live my life as much as I can without too much attention to, that fear and the energy that comes with the fact that by this issues. I had a recent experience, and when I finally spoke about my experience to an instructor, a mentor, a teacher, the response I got back was, "Oh, why didn't you report it earlier?" And the reason why I didn't report it is what I want to talk about. I did not report it because what's happening in South Africa.
Economic strain, unemployment, and political rhetoric are shaping public sentiment. In that environment, migrants often become easy targets.
Hear me. We hear about people fighting one another, right? People within the same country, tribal wars. One person is fighting against the other. It's the Yoruba against the Igbos, or if you're in Nigeria, or this, against that. And then we move to xenophobia, a country against another country, all within the same race. So we're all black people. South Africans fighting Nigerians. And then when we move higher up, we go to race. The white race against the black race, and then we turn it and we name it racism. But it all boils down to the same thing. And when I'm faced with racism, unfortunately, the feeling and the emotion that I have is the fact that if my fellow black person could be mean to me, if my fellow black person could hate on me, if my fellow black person could do all of these things to me, I'm not surprised coming from a white person. I'm not supporting it. I'm not validating it. I'm just saying that's how I feel. So when you say, why didn't you report it? I'm not very eager to report it because, yeah, I've just been through quite a few things that sometimes the best thing for me is to put my eyes on the goal. What's the goal? What's my aim? What do I want to do? And I just keep going. And I just keep going because either it's tribal war or xenophobia attack or racism, call it whatever you want. The bottom line is one human being hating against another. Now, I'm here to ask fellow black people in the diaspora, how do you face racism, knowing about tribalism, xenophobia, and the rest? Like, how do you confront it? How do you receive it? How do you receive it? Like really, how, if you're Igbo and you're in Nigeria now, you're Igbo, and you face the whole attack against the Igbos, the Biafrans, that's a lot. Coming here and facing racism, I don't know, to me it's like, yeah, it's just a repeat, like PTSD, let's play it again, like, so how do you receive it? How does it make you feel? Because when I just sit down and watch what's happening in South Africa, I am perplexed and disappointed and shocked. A few years ago, about 5-6 years ago, when the issue with George Floyd happened, one black man, white police officers, we all saw the uproar. The streets were lit up. At that point, it was a race against another. It didn't matter what country you belong to. Every black person was on the street, and we're all speaking up in one voice: no to racism.
Flames. Others seen loot protesting. All of it after demonstrators approached one of the city's police.
Out of the front.
Officers in riot gear tried to maintain order.
You can see the smoke bombs in the distance, and police have been firing
hours before. Furious at the death of 46-year-old George Floyd.
But look at the killings and the things happening in South Africa. Why is no one speaking up against that? So if it is the message that it's okay when a black person kills another black person or hits another black person, but it's not okay when a white person does the same thing. Like, hear me out. I'm just trying to understand this thing. It's a lot, and I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to understand it to the best of my ability. Why was it not okay for George Floyd to be brutally harassed that way, but it's okay for black people in black nationals, what I mean, like black Nigerians, black Ghanaians in South Africa, to be dragged along the streets and harassed and humiliated and hurt and killed? Like, why is that okay? Why is no one speaking up? Like, why are we not speaking up? Why am I not seeing the same energy that we gave to the Black Lives Matter? Why am I not seeing it here? Why does Black life only matter when it's black against white? Why does Black life not matter when it's black against black? Like, I was listening to Soma Aku. I follow her, I listen to her a lot, and she talked about her experience in the UK and how she was put in the same apartment with another black person. I've forgotten. The thinking of the people that gave them the accommodation is, oh, you're sisters, you're all black, right? So you should be able to coexist, you should be able to live together. But that was not the case. That was not the case. According to her story, the black woman very next day got her moved or kicked out of the apartment because she could not share an apartment with a Nigerian.
It was a 2-bedroom apartment. I was supposed to be in one of the rooms with my child, and then they told me there's another lady in the other room, she has a child as well. And they thought, the accommodation manager thought, they're fellow Africans. I was happy, I was relieved, the place was warm, and he came to me and told me he was going to move me. He didn't tell me why. But at the office of the accommodation manager, she went there for something, and this South African lady came there shouting and giving out and angry and said that she would not share accommodation with the Nigerian. I was moved because my fellow African says she cannot share accommodation with the Nigerian. I thought to myself,
and the reason is what blew my mind, because a Nigerian man broke her heart. Sis, I don't know if it's, maybe you've not heard though, they also break our hearts. So no, I'm serious. I don't know, maybe you've not heard. Maybe you think Nigerian men only break hearts of other women. No, they break hearts of also Nigerian women also. So it's not a nationality. Men are men. It doesn't matter where you're from. They're going to break your heart either way, right? So why we're getting burned because a man broke your heart is a bit bizarre and beyond me. And then she talked about someone else, Jacinta, I believe, and Jacinta's own experience too was based on the fact that the Nigerian man also broke her heart.
Apparently, because I dated a Nigerian who broke my heart. I want you to know something, né? And I want you, when you think of the name Jacinta, to think about this.
At this point, I'll have to beg Nigerian men. I beg. People should stop breaking hearts. Maybe it will reduce this whole thing, but that's just for jokes, really. Personally, I believe if you've ever benefited from someone in the diaspora, so someone in the diaspora has sent you money for any reason, giving you gift, or your family or someone close to you has, in one way or the other, benefited from someone in the diaspora, you have no right to be involved with tribalism and xenophobia. Really, you have no right. Because if the harm you're causing right now in South Africa, if it's done to your loved ones who are strangers in other countries, you would not have the benefits you're enjoying right now. So that's my personal opinion. If you're benefiting from anyone in the diaspora, you have no right to be involved in xenophobic attacks. No right. And if you're in the diaspora and you say, yes, let them go back to their countries, before you open your mouth and say that, please make sure you are speaking from your own country. Because it's kind of confusing when I see people from other countries, people in Spain saying, yes, let them go back to their country. I'm like, are you in your country, or did you get missing, or you got confused? Is it early onset of Alzheimer's or something? Like, am I missing something here? We're all strangers in this land at the end of the day. Everyone is a stranger. Like, either you're Ghanaian in South Africa, or you're Nigerian in Canada, or you're South African in Zimbabwe, or you're a Mexican in Morocco. Like, at the end of the day, this is all immigration, and people are migrating everywhere depending on, issues and situations and all of that. We're all humans. Why would you hate one another because of a border that was drawn to you outside of yourself? It's just so absurd, and it's hurting. Like, the emotions I feel, you know what it means to, I don't know if people understand what it means. The loneliness that comes from the fact that you're outside of your place, right? So you're outside of your place and you're in the midst of strangers. And then you see a fellow Black person, the joy that comes in your heart. For a minute, you feel like, oh, I'm home. Or, okay, somebody that looks like me. Or somebody that feels me. Or somebody that could understand me. And then you extend that hand to that person. And they slap it. And it's almost like you're in a place where the whites or whoever is in that place doesn't want you. Your fellow Black don't want you. And God forbid, even people in your own country don't want you either. Like, where does it end? Where does it end? Are we not tired? Are we not tired? Okay, I'm going to end this video here because I'm beginning to get very emotional, and I just wanted to put it out there. My heart goes out to everyone that's been affected one way or the other by tribalism, xenophobic attacks, or racism. Be strong. The more united we are, the stronger we are. And I hope you find peace and comfort. And to all those doing the attacking, that's to the attackers, the instigators, I hope you find peace. And I hope you find love in your heart. Because as far as I'm concerned, in this world, we're just two races. The good, the bad. Really, that's just all. The good, the bad. So what race do you belong to? Thank you. Have a nice day.